Okay, I have 6 inverters right now working in parallel, and we have a lot of batteries. We have plenty of batteries. That's not a problem, you know. We can be on a cloudy day. We can be running the pool equipment. We can be running whatever we want to run, and at night we can run plenty of devices, microwaves, whatever. You know, that's not an issue because we have plenty of backup power. You know, the only problem that we're having is these inverters are giving us code 60 and code 80, and they stop working. The other thing they're doing is they're rebooting all the time. So they're restarting all the time, you know, so that's a problem. The good thing about it is the seller is trying to help us. The seller is trying to help us to fix that problem. The only thing is we need power. We need steady power. And I'm able to use my old backup inverter for that. The only problem is it's only a 5,000K inverter. So it's not able to handle my big loads. Like if I wanted to use my microwave at home and we're having we're using a decent amount of power, well, that might shut down the system because it's getting overloaded. So what I'm gonna be doing is, for now, until I get a fix from the seller, I'm gonna be splitting my units again, because each one of these units is a 6,000K inverter. It's a 6,000 watt inverter, you know. So I'm just gonna split it. No more parallel for now until I get a fix. So I'm gonna use one unit to run my pool equipment, another unit to run my house, another unit to run, let's say, my party room, you know, things like that. I'm gonna use another one to run my air conditionings, you know. That's the way I'm gonna have to split the load. I mean, it's a lot more rewiring and stuff like that, but you know something? I need something dependable. And also, when these units go to single units without being in parallel, I also want to know if they stop the code 60 and code 80 and the rebooting of the system, you know. So we'll see. For now, like I said, I'm gonna split everything and I'm gonna remove all my parallel connections and everything. No more of that. I'm tired of that right now. Like I said, the seller, the good thing about it is helping us, but these units are terrible. On that part, they're being newer units. I'm their guinea pig. I'm an experiment to them, you know, and I'm supposed to be the one finding out all the problems they're having. Basically, they sold us the units before they fixed the problems, and I don't want to be that person. I keep bugging them, you know, to get answers to this, but I'm tired. So now I'm gonna try to have steady power. It's not gonna be strong enough for big stuff, but if I just split my loads, I might be able to handle everything properly. Not the way it's supposed to be, but well, at least I'm gonna keep using my units without having this of resetting everything, cameras, network devices, smart devices, and stuff like that, because my router is restarting all the time, and that's a problem, you know. So anyway, wish me luck. I'll pause the video and I'll go back after I split everything. So I mentioned to you guys, I'm gonna be taking off just all this communication cables, you know, they go from one unit to the other. I mean, by the way, that's not a real good looking stuff, you know. See here, here's another one. There's another one here. All my units, all my inverters, I put breakers. I put breakers here to every single unit. And all my inverters also have, coming from the solar panels, have a breaker there. So everything can be shut down. That's not an issue. Everything can be shut down individually. The only thing that I have to do is all my power cables, here they go. All my power cables, they go to single blocks, you know, here. This is neutral, this is power again. And this is ground. So what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be splitting those cables. They're not gonna be connected together anymore. Now they're gonna be separated, and I'm gonna have to reprogram the parameters to these units. And now they're gonna be set as single units, not in parallel. So that's what's gonna happen to these units. So I'll pause the video right now and I'll come back to you guys later. Okay, so I mentioned to you guys, all these units were working in parallel before. And I was thinking about like running single units, okay? Running single units, that way I'm not working in parallel. But there's another option. My other option will be to run 2 units together. This is not going to be parallel, okay? This is not going to be parallel. The way it's going to work is one unit will be providing power out, okay? That will be providing the power. The other unit, the second unit, will be providing input. So the second unit will be acting as a generator, acting as the grid, okay? So that way, if my inverter needs help from the grid, it'll be getting the help from the other generator. So this will be, let's say, for example, the one providing power to the load, and this will be providing power. This will be providing power to the inverter as the grid or as a generator. Okay, so that's the way I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna be doing like that. So I'm gonna have 3 sets of 2 units working like that. One generating power, and the other one working as the grid or a generator. So that's the way it's gonna be. We're gonna have 3 sets. And like I said, also gonna bypass the overload, because the overload is gonna be, the grid is gonna be helping. In this case, it's gonna be my other generator. So let's see how that works. Okay, I'll keep going right now and I'll rewire everything and I have them ready. I'll show you in a few minutes. Thank you. Hold on. I'm gonna pause the video, okay? Thank you. Okay guys, so I'm making my inverter thing that is connected to the grid, okay? I put this input power coming from another inverter from the output, okay? So I'm putting it to the input, and this one is gonna be generating power to the load. So this inverter is gonna think that it's connected to the grid. But at the same time, I'm gonna bypass the overload, okay? So if this inverter gets overloaded, it's gonna get help from the grid, okay? So it is gonna bypass that overload. So every time it gets overloaded, it'll be getting help. I'll show you guys in the software, okay? Just let me pause this again and let me close it. Okay, so before I start the inverter that is gonna be acted as the grid, I'm gonna start the inverter that is gonna be actually providing power to my load. And for that, I can just turn on the breaker for the solar panels and it'll start, but it's not getting any voltage. I'm okay with that, okay? So because what I wanna do is I wanna go to my software here and change the settings for this inverter, change the parameters. So what I'm gonna be doing is going here, and now this is gonna be not an off-grid model, this is gonna be a hybrid, okay? And I apply the change. The other thing that I wanna do for this unit is I'm gonna be changing the overload bypass when utility is available, okay? So we're gonna enable that. Overload bypass when utility is available. It was disabled before, but now we're gonna have utility, okay? So utility is the other inverter. So that's gonna help us with power. So we make that change, and now everything looks okay. And we're still not working in, these units they're not working in parallel, okay? One is acting as the power provider, and the other one is acting as the grid, or you can call it a generator. But in this case, it's gonna be just another inverter. I mean, I'm not even trying to get charged from it because they're gonna be charging the same batteries. They're using the same batteries, okay? So maximum AC charge, I have it as 2 amps. So I don't want any charge from this inverter to the other one. Maximum charging output, all the inverters I wanted to do the max that is 120 amps. And the other thing here is, let's see, solar priority. Solar priority, we're okay. It's load battery, solar battery, we're okay. We want the utility to be the last one. But actually on this one, we have the grid. So the grid can help us. Let's see. we can do, if we want this inverter to help, we can do this. We can go to battery load, no, load battery, okay, load battery utility, okay. That one there's not much we can do because it's load battery and load battery utility. The utility is the last one. But what if we do solar utility battery? Battery is gonna be the last one. So that's the output source. So it's solar utility battery, okay? So this one here actually is gonna be the solar the first one, utility the second one, and the battery is gonna be the last one. So this is gonna be the one that is getting the power from the other inverter. So it's gonna be solar, utility, and battery. That's gonna be the last one. We apply it, and we're good. Okay? So solar is first, utility is second, and the battery is the third one. This one, I can only do load, battery, utility. Utility has to be the last one on this one. And or I can change the battery to be the first, but no, I'm okay with that. That's it, it's done. Those are all the settings that I needed to change on this unit. The other unit, because it's providing the power, I don't have to make any changes. I already had it set up. It's a single unit, it's not in parallel, and it's providing power. That's it. So let's see. I think we're good. I'm just gonna put some tape to my terminals for now to make sure that everything's safe, and I'm gonna give it a try. And I'll show you guys. So let me pause this video and let me get them going. I mean, not much to say, but I can probably just close it here and check my parameters again, make sure that they didn't change for whatever reason. Nope, it's hybrid, and everything else is the same. And here, overload bypass when utility is available, enable. Okay, so we're bypassing the overload because utility is available. So utility is supposed to help us because it's not disabled, it's enable. Okay, so we're bypassing the overload. Okay, so let me pause this. Okay guys, so now I connected the unit to the grid, okay? Well, to the other inverter. My inverter is replacing the grid. So the system is thinking that it's connected to the grid, okay? Let's see, let me close this software. Let me see which unit I'm connected to. I think I made the changes. Hold on, let me pause this. I'm gonna check my settings again. Okay guys, so you see here, my unit thinks that it's connected to the grid, but it's not connected to the grid as I mentioned to you guys. See here on the software, shows that it's connected to the grid, but it's not connected to the grid. It's actually just connected to my other inverter. And that one there, the output of that inverter is giving power to the input of the second inverter. And that second inverter is actually connected to my load. And that's why this unit thinks that it's connected to the grid. And I just made a few changes on the parameters, you know. One of the changes that I made here is I put it that it's a hybrid and not off grid. Then I also put to bypass, to enable the overload bypass when utility is available. So I enable that. Okay, so now we're gonna be able to handle bigger loads with a smaller inverter because we have another inverter. They're not connected in parallel, okay? Anyways, because these units, they don't work properly in parallel. According to the manufacturer, they're supposed to be good for that. I have 6 units here that are not working properly. Anyway, the other change that I made here was this one here, where it shows solar battery utility. I want solar, utility, and battery. Okay, I want solar to be first, utility to be second. So that means utility is my first inverter that is actually providing the power of the grid or a generator to the second inverter. That way it helps with the load. Okay, Let me pause this. See, these are the two inverters that I have right now. And like I was saying, one is acting as the grid. This one is the grid. This one here is gonna be the one that is providing the power to my load, okay? I mean, they're all connected to the same battery source.